We're taking a look here at the battery. For some reason I had it in my mind that I could replace this by just taking the side cover off, but as you will see, I do not have a whole lot of room to squeeze that battery through. Rather than trying to squeeze it and causing all sorts of issues, we're going to back this back out and we're going to put it into the service position, which will allow us to service position of the boom, and we'll have a little bit more room to work with, extricate that battery. Today's video with the skid loader is some unfinished maintenance and repairs that we need to accomplish. First off, we're going to go ahead and replace the battery. The battery that I have currently installed is an automotive battery that came out of a Honda Accord. Typically, these batteries don't last very long because of the vibration, and this battery has lasted about 1 year. It still slightly works, but it won't work come this winter. So we're going to go ahead and replace it. Second, we need to drain the coolant system and replace the block heater. The block heater on this is bad along with the cord, and we're going to go ahead and replace the cord, replace the block heater. And since we have the coolant drained, I suspect that the thermostat is not working the way it needs to. The thermostat is lazy in operation, also not really knowing the history. I would probably go ahead and replace it anyways, just for preventative maintenance, considering how many hours are on the machine. With the thermostat and the block heater replaced, we're going to have to go ahead and refill this up with coolant. I've got a real cool tool that I'm sure there's somebody out there on YouTube land that has gone ahead and used a vacuum filler. I really like these vacuum fillers because it takes out a lot of the potential errors when filling the cooling system. All right, we've gone and cleaned up all the battery terminals, and we're going to go ahead and slide this new battery in. All right. There we go. We're dealing with a little bit larger battery here, so I think what I'm going to do is I need a different bungee cord. Alright, we got the battery secured with the new bungee cord. So let's go ahead and reinstall our power cables. We got the positive with the positive. Just right there. We're going to put my safety glasses on in case the battery explodes. Alright, go ahead and tighten this. Right. New batteries installed. All right, what we're going to do is we need to drain the coolant off first. And we're going to do that right down here. There is the drain valve. So we also need to, the hose all the drain hoses, including oil, come together in the middle with a plate. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to get some stuff on the gravel so I don't get gravel all over me. We're going to lean down there, take the plate off, and then we'll go ahead and loosen this valve out and start draining the coolant. Our thermostat is going to be right in this area right here. So we'll take this housing off. Or first we'll take the hose off, see what we're dealing with, if the housing even has to come off. I think that housing looks like it's part of the chain case. So we're going to, the timing chain, so we're not even going to most likely touch that. If I get that hose off and find out that thermostat's not a drop-in, then we could be in for a treat. Which basically means I won't be doing that right now. So, I don't know. We'll take a look, see what we're dealing with here. And then, as far as our block heater goes, we are on this side, and you can see the block heater right there. So we got a new plug, we got a block heater, new plug. So we'll hopefully be able to get that out without too much heartache. We'll have to disconnect our battery, which we just replaced, and go from there. All right, we're draining the coolant. Okay, there we are. We have the thermostat, and we need to take out that snap ring, and then hopefully this all comes out. Well, that seemed a lot more challenging than it should have been. The snap ring's out. Now let's see if this comes out in one piece. I have no idea if it's original. It seems very stuck. Oh, this is going to be lovely. All right. What do we got going on here? Oh, this is not a good sign. All right. Well, it's starting to come out in pieces. Which, is that a surprise to anyone? Not me. Alright, now that turns. Come on. all our suspicions were right on. This thermostat is coming out in pieces now. I was able to pop out the thermostat itself, but the plastic is not coming with it. I'm going to try to keep it in there so all the plastic doesn't go down, and we're going to see if we can kind of work this loose. This is not really what we want, but it is what it is. So delaminating. I don't know. I'm thinking this thing's original because this plastic is nasty. Nasty, I say. I think what we're going to do is, yeah, pieces there. All right, we've got some plastic that's not going to come out on its own unless I pry it out, and the challenging part is it will fall down into that hole. I may or may not be able to vacuum it out. We're not going to assume we're going to vacuum it out. I could put a paper towel down there to prevent plastic from entering. However, there's always the risk that the paper towel will become saturated with a little bit of leftover coolant, and the paper towel will disappear. The other option is I am going to put a plastic bag, or like a sandwich Ziploc bag, I'm going to stuff down into that hole because I'm reasonably confident I can pull it back out. The key here is going to be, though, we've got some very brittle black plastic around it, so I need to be able to get it down there, get it to stay. So that's what we're going to do next. A plastic bag, we're going to stuff it down. The kind of to recap our challenge right now, we have a plastic thermostat housing, or we have a thermostat assembly that is in a plastic housing that slides down into the thermostat housing, which is metal. This thermostat housing appears to be entirely a part of the front timing cover of the engine. So to get pieces of plastic out would be very challenging. So we're going to stick this plastic down and hopefully not disturb some of this plastic. So we have the plastic in there now. And I don't know if you can kind of see that. Step 2 here is going to be, we're going to take out the plastic thermostat housing. Well, we got to get our lingo down here so we don't understand, so everyone understands. We've got the outer metal housing that's part of the engine. Inside the metal housing is a plastic thermostat retainer that holds the thermostat that slides into the metal. We need to get this plastic retainer out, and it's going to come out in pieces. But at this point, we need it out. So, grab our long screwdriver. We're going to just run it along the edge. Just like that. Okay. Okay. Lovely. Okay. We ran it along our edge. So now we're going to go over here and do the same thing. Okay. Now, we have this in the shape of a heart. I don't know if you can see that. And everything will be fine now because it's in the shape of a heart. So we're going to pull it out. Oh, look at that. There we go. What a horrible, horrible design. It is what it is, though. So, we got some bigger pieces here. We're going to extricate out. All right, we're doing good here. I think. Okay, we have majority of the plastic pieces out here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put this right there, and we're going to get the vacuum in here. All right. Sort of difficult to see. Let's see if I can get some light in there. Okay, so our plastic vacuumed right up along with the smaller bits of plastic. I'm very confident we don't have anything else going on here. I was able to get majority of the big plastic out. It just left little pieces that were stopped by our plastic sandwich bag that I had stuffed in the hole. And then as I vacuumed up, the sandwich bag came out along with the little pieces. So I think we're good to go here. We can clean up, and we'll do a little comparison on the bench of our old thermostat versus our new, and then we'll start going back together. Removed the old thermostat, the thermostat retainer, and we have the machine cleaned up. I wanted to compare the two. So this is the new part that we're going to be installing. This is the snap ring that goes over the top. Most likely keeps it from popping out. And then this piece, which looks pretty homemade, but I don't know, slides down inside. Most likely keeps things from collapsing, potentially, or keeps the form of the retainer. And then, of course, we have the old one, which I had to, that would not come out whole, it came out in pieces. All right, we're ready to go back in. I've liberally applied our aviation sealant to the underside and then the mating surface of this housing and O-ring. This will work nicely. I've used the aviation sealant for like freeze plugs on engines. In fact, the truck that I've had for 15 years, I had to do a freeze plug repair on that and use the aviation sealant on it, and it worked beautifully. Never leaked. So this is a good application for it, and let's go ahead and install it. Okay, it's hard to see on the block, but you can kind of see that, or maybe you can't, but it's difficult to see on the block, but I did clean it up, and we've got a nice mating surface for it. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to squeeze this in, and then Alright, we have the new heating element installed, or the block heater. Our next step here is we need a provision for installing the new cord. Because this old heating element was shorted out, the cord actually has an open in it. Must be a safety feature to prevent your house from burning down. We'll go ahead and start getting this. Okay, we're going to apply the dielectric grease just on the outer side of it. Help keep moisture out of the actual plug. And then go ahead and grab the ring. Go like this. Push it in. Take some of that excess. Put a little bit on the threads. Alright. Alright, we have the new power cord and heating element installed, or the block heater. And right there. Before we test it though, we have to refill the engine with coolant. And as promised here, I'm going to show you what we are going to do here. No, I don't see too many people using these. I'm a huge fan of them. There's two benefits. First, when you pull down the vacuum and you close the valve, if it starts losing its vacuum, you have a obvious leak you have to take care of. Usually you can find that leak by listening. Number two is you vacuum fill the system, so you're not having to spend time bleeding. Engine manufacturer has, some different guidelines for how to purge out the engine. If you don't do this correctly, it can lead to hot pockets. I've witnessed water pumps grenade because they become airlocked, and 95% out of the time it's not an issue, but for those few times that are, this vacuum bleeding system is the way to go. So that's what I do with my equipment. So, a couple things I'm using this. You need to have your coolant lined up. And it has to be ready to fill. So, if you don't have pre-mixed, the best bet is to fill up some jugs and do your pre-mix forward. And then you only get a little bit of time as you release the vacuum, it pulls in the coolant. So that's why you need your coolant lined up first. And then finally, you need to have shop air. Okay, so we pulled our vacuum, as you can see, and what you're going to see with this, we're going to have to move around, you're going to draw in your hose, so we have a vacuum drawn on it, and really the thing to keep track of, or what we're looking for, we're going to watch this, and we're going to see if we're losing vacuum. Looks like it's holding steady to me. We're going to line up our coolant. Get our hose ready. Okay, we're vacuum filling. Alright, we're going to keep track here where we land with coolant, because I don't want to suck air into the system. As long as it's drawing into the system, we want to be drawing coolant. And if we get to the point where we're going to run out of coolant, like right there, that wasn't good. It's not what I wanted. Shut her off. I'm going to go back. Add more coolant. Okay. My confidence level is high, so I went ahead and installed the lower shield. My confidence level is high because I vacuum filled this and the vacuum held. We already know ahead of time that we don't have leaks versus, if we went ahead and filled this, after we get done purging, we might let it run for a little bit and verify that there are no leaks. I will still run this and verify there are no leaks, but these would be leaks that would occur after it's really warmed up. It's not a cold leak. So there you go. We can see our block heater in there. Let's go ahead and start this. This is the conclusion of our video today. If you've enjoyed this video or some of our other videos, please consider subscribing to Factotum Life.